We are in Israel with Yoram, a young yeshiva student from an Orthodox family. After several years spent learning Torah, he started shidduchim, meetings planned with the intention to find a match, and in just a few months celebrated his engagement to his family's great joy. When he went back to the yeshiva after the engagement, a student approached Yoram saying, "Did you know that your fiancée is a convert?" Yoram felt like he was hit in the face. "A convert? My parents didn't even. My grandmother inquired about her family. They have always been religious. Her father studies all day, and her brothers are all in yeshiva. You must be confusing her with someone else." "No, I'm not mistaken," the young man insisted. "You can check for yourself." What Yoram feared was obviously not that his fiancée would be a convert, that the conversion might not be valid, and that she would not be Jewish. If his parents missed such an important detail, what else did they miss? So Yoram's parents informed the shadchan, intermediary between their son and the girl, who was very surprised, and asked him to give him some time to check. An hour later he called back, "The information isn't wrong, but it's misunderstanding. The girl isn't a convert, nor her parents or grandparents. Only her great-grandmother on her father's side actually converted. Her parents were Ukrainian farmers. The father had a Jewish first name, Shimon. Although he and his wife were not Jewish, the surname was Vituk. Upon hearing this name, Yoram's grandmother, who was living with the family at the time, burst into tears. Her son, Yoram's father, asked her what was happening, but she couldn't speak. She finally calmed down after a few minutes. Shimon Vituk was a Ukrainian farmer at the time of World War II. Contrary to all the anti-Semites around him, he loved Jews. He used to say they were a holy people whom people should respect. He and his wife read the Bible a lot. Then the Shoah started. When the Nazis invaded Ukraine, they found many volunteers happy to do the dirty work. Not only did Ukrainians cruelly murder Jews, men, women, and children, they also tracked everyone who hid to murder them too. Those who helped Jews constantly lived in fear of being denounced and punished for their good deeds. Shimon Vituk had built a cellar under his house where he hid Jews. One night, he heard his dog bark, so he went out to try and see what was going on, and noticed a Jewish woman trying to escape the Nazis. She arrived frightened in front of Shimon, held out a diamond ring and promised, "I beg you, this ring is yours if you hide me." Surprisingly, Shimon took the ring and led her to his hiding place. Now one day, a rumor spread saying that a group of Jews had found refuge at his house, and Shimon was forced to ask them to find another shelter, as the Nazis would soon arrive and find him. As the Jewish woman was leaving, Shimon gave her back her ring. "If you were going to give it back, why did you take it in the first place?" she asked, astonished. Shimon smiled. "I want you to feel at home here. I wanted you to eat your fill without shame, knowing you had paid your debt to me. Now that you're leaving, I'm returning it to you. It belongs to you." Moved, the woman thanked him profusely and covered him with blessings before walking out. Barely a few hours later, the Nazis came and threatened to torture Shimon if he didn't tell them where the Jews were hiding. Shimon knew he couldn't withstand torture, that he would confess their location, and that he would die anyway. He remembered reading in the Bible about a ruse King David used by pretending to be mad to escape death. Having nothing to lose, he decided to use David's trick. First he muttered gibberish, then rolled on the ground like someone who lost his mind. Miraculously, the Nazis were convinced and left him alone. Yoram's grandmother continued, "This is a story I heard about Shimon Vituk. Do you know who I heard it from? From the woman he hid. She was my mother. She constantly spoke of this Shimon who saved her life." Turning to Yoram, she added, "You're about to marry a descendant of this great man. It is our great merit for our family. You can be proud." Both astonished and moved, Yoram and his parents were understandably speechless. Before this incredible story, Yoram's grandmother then asked to meet with someone from Shimon's family who could tell her more about him. And it turned out that the fiance's great-grandmother, Shimon's converted daughter, was still alive. A meeting was organized between the two ladies, and Shimon's daughter shared, "Know that my father was terribly ashamed of his people's actions against Jews. He wanted to convert but never had the opportunity. After the war, he encouraged me to go to Israel to convert. That's what I did. You have no idea how happy I am about this marriage between our families." Later on, Yoram's grandmother paid him a visit to find out something. "Tell me, did you already buy a ring for your fiancé?" "Not yet," he replied. "Why, Grandma?" She held out her diamond ring, saying, "You don't need to buy a ring. This is my mother's ring, the one she gave Shimon Vituk in exchange for a hiding place, and which he returned later on. Give this ring to your fiancé. May it be a reminder of the wonderful divine providence which brought together both the descendants of the rescuer and of the rescued.